manifestation in the Bible, realism. Reality is all the experiences and knowledge of the world that determines how things appear to you. Real is something capable of being treated as a fact and is something that is being or occurring in actuality and having verified existence or substance that concedes with reality. Realism, the state of being actual or real, the attribute of accepting facts of life, wavering, practicality, and real truth. Philosophy considers the doctrine of realism as being or objects that continue to exist when not perceived as abstract concepts that exist independent of their names. The first aspect of realism can consider the claim about existence. For example, table rocks and moon all exist because of the following facts. Tables are square, rocks are made of granite, and the moons being spherical and yellow. The second aspect of realism or reality is independence. For example, the moon's existence is interdependent of anything anyone happens to say or think about the moon. Likewise, the table of being square is humans' acknowledgments to such claims. Realism in ontology, the application to matters of what is ontology, the branch of philosophy that studies concepts such as existence, being, becoming, or reality. It allows the thinking of how these entities can exist in the most fundamental level. For example, the concept of realism in ontology is universals within Plato's theory of forms, within which asserts that things such as beauty or justice are characterized as these forms themselves are as thoughts neither in space nor time. Plato's usual term, eidos, is a concept of idea, that is the abstraction of existing independently mental activity and of sensible particulars. As such, they lie beyond the reach of sense perception, which Plato regarded as providing only beliefs about appearances as opposed to knowledge of what is truly real. A realist attitude with regards to one area of thought or discourse is a person who accepts the world as it literally is and deals with it accordingly. A philosopher who believes that universals are real and exist independently of anyone thinking of them. Material world refers to the physical world where we live, work, and play, whereby all of our natural senses like sense of sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, movement, and feeling are capable of grasping the concrete realities like people, places, things as they appear to us. Everyone lives in exile from reality. People are being forced to live in a reality that is corrupt and dysfunctional, mostly because of the greed of corporate people. To live in someone else's sixth delusional fantasy is not living. Humans must manifest their own reality. Reality manifestation in the sense of who and what is God really. Is God a human or external extreme being? That mode of thinking hasn't been solved due to finding out whether there is existence of God. The Bible gives us clues to the notion of a supreme being through his creation. God cannot be a series of questions and answers which reveal that God is the essential infinite nature behind the pure mind, which is primordial consciousness. Primordial consciousness is the thought of the concept of God beyond human intervention. The thought in the mind of God, or the reality of existence, cannot be solved by mere human thought. However, if one should manifest their own reality, reality is the perception of existence based on the thought of the person engaging in the concrete action of the thought. For example, the Bible states in James 1 verse 8 that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. A double-minded individual is a person who is grounded in duality. He or she continually grasps the things manifested in this world. This person is always also highly unstable because they believe that they are his or her own ego. They cannot rely on the subject-object relationship that our senses present to our conscious experience. They also can be constantly at war with their own conscious and subconscious thought patterns. An enlightened mind manifests creation from the ground of formless being that is the virgin nature of the mind itself. The realization is not concerned with the duality of the circumstances of the life. The mind has been trained to let go of the tantalizing effects of the illusion of life that can have on the individual, therefore no longer grasping to things or events. Consider James 1 verse 2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, the natural phenomenon and the test of life. Notice here in the Bible is conveying that the tests of life are nothing to get worked up about. Why? Knowing that the trying of your faith worketh patience, but let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. James 1, verse 3 and 4. James exhorts the reader to come to a place or mental state where the desire or attachment to the manifested world is no more. This is what wanting nothing is. This believer can be in a state of the contentment at all times in all situations. It is a state of true freedom, regardless of the circumstances. This is why many of us also fail at manifesting. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, and give to all men liberally, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith. Single-mindedness, wanting, wavering is, for he that wavereth is a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord. Which is James 1 verse 5 and 7. Here we can see that James agrees that single-mindedness is the key. A single-minded individual has a very powerful mind indeed. If you read the rest of the chapter in James, it should make sense to you. Let's look at a few more verses. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away from his own lust and enticed. When lust has conceived, it brings forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, brings forth death. James 1, verse 14 and 15. Sin is to miss the mark, to remain in ignorance about reality and the true nature of the mind. That's why the Bible speaks about getting wisdom so much. A person who remains in sin cannot realize the true nature of the mind of God, and therefore dies. The cycle of birth and death is what they continually reap, because they are continuing grasping for duality. Remember, James said that we must get to a place of wanting nothing. Attachment to the outside world is part of the problem. Realization to the original pure mind helps release us from the attachment of things phenomenal, which is all impermanent anyways. Thereby it's not permanent. The world of the manifestation